at 5 minutes after 3. And I guess, should we make a note that there were only 2 selectmen present?
Yeah, well, it'll be
Okay,
reflected.
and then Margaret is hopefully enjoying herself in Paris. Sounds nicer than here, right?
I hope so.
Privilege of the floor. I know you're here on an issue. Is there anything else that you have that you'd like to bring up? We'll get your issue right to the top of the thing here so that you don't have to stay. Well, that being the case, trustee of the trust fund.
All right, I'm here representing the trustee of the trust funds. We've decided that it was time for us to move the investment money that we have, the state fund, into something that's going to give us a little bit more interest.
Okay.
Currently, the state fund is paying us 0.001%.
0.001, not 18 that they charge our residents.
So, and last year we earned a whopping $37.42
Whoa.
in interest.
Wow.
So we decided to research what a CD would pay us at the various banks, local banks.
Okay.
And we checked with 3 banks and have decided to, made the decision to go with Northway. They're going to pay us 0.45% for a 12-month CD.
Great.
And just wanted to let the selectmen know of the change that we were making.
Terrific. I don't think you technically need anything from us, right? You have the authority to do it, right?
Right.
Yeah, in fact, your responsibility.
Yes. Right. Mike, you had a question?
Just how much money are we throwing into the CDs?
It's close to $100,000.
Almost 100.
And we made how much last year?
$37.
Okay.
That will make $450. A little bit better, but
Well, on behalf of the town, I want to thank you and your group for your attention to this matter.
Right. At least at 450, you know, the trustees might be able to have a party or
that's
something,
right, exactly.
We won't be embarrassed to write it in the report.
All right.
So that's all I have.
Well, great. Thank you very much.
Okay,
And pass on to the trustees. We appreciate their work.
Okay,
Yeah,
will
right.
do. Thank you.
Okay, great. Take a look at the
give you a call
minutes
tomorrow.
of April 22nd. I just have one note. There is a section in here that talks about the snowmaking machine. That should be the snowmaking. So every place you have snowmaking machine, change it to groomer or snowmaking or snow groomer or something like that, because it's not a snowmaking machine.
Yep.
Other than that,
No,
did you see anything?
Fine.
All right. I'll make a motion then to approve the minutes as amended.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Financial update.
Pardon me, I provided you with the spreadsheet. We're doing okay. Departments are all, except with the exception of right now planning and zoning, because of their project being complete or nearly complete. They're at 54% spent. Insurance is also at 54.5% spent, but that's the front loading of the premiums.
Right.
Medical is slightly higher. We had some per diem uses that I think, if Chris were here, I think that's the reason that they're slightly ahead of budget right now, but nothing that I'm concerned with at the present time.
Okay.
And the bond anticipation notes at 82% is because we have paid the annual payment for that. Any
Revenues.
questions?
Well,
Revenues?
other than recreation, which we
Yeah.
talked about before,
Right.
but what? How about the other areas? Revenues
Wastewater.
pretty much?
Yeah, water, wastewater, and solid waste fees are on track. That's 1 quarter.
Okay.
First quarter is done. Recycling, we're a little behind. I think we're going to need to probably adjust that going forward. Jim, do you have any containers or any big metal items or anything coming up for recycling where we would get funding? Okay.
Yes.
Or revenues from that? One of the problems, again, we're continuing to look into our options for putting the camera down here.
Yeah.
But as an example, what was it on Monday morning? $3 or something that was in the box. and there were 10 TVs.
Yeah.
So nobody's paying. No, the honor system is not being
Right.
abided by.
Right.
And you know, we'll try to do what we can with cameras when we get them set up. But short of staffing it, there isn't.
Well, again, my contention would be the cost of staffing it
Staffing it
isn't
would be
worth
more,
the
right.
revenue we're gonna
Well,
collect. And
But also, once
Go
we
ahead.
have the
the
building
garage,
there,
maybe
Yeah,
it'll.
it might get
people
better.
people will see this, and you can also ask, you know, we could maybe get a strip of supermarket meat stickers or something
Do we
to give people if they put the TV on. So that's what they do in Mass where we are.
generally, from what you see or observe, most of the TVs, that kind of stuff that's coming in, would be from residents. We're not getting people. I can't imagine somebody driving into the valley to unload a TV, but.
Right, well, it's better
Unless
they
they're
unload it
working.
here than on the side of the road, obviously, but.
Yeah.
What does it cost to
I
dump?
think most of the stuff.
Is
Yeah.
residents, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, the other thing is when you get the garage, you know, we could go to more restrictive hours to when there's people around, but the problem is that's just self-defeating for most of our people here on the weekend, you know?
No,
I mean, we're just annoying them, that's all we're
Let's
doing.
do what we can and minimize the losses.
Right.
What,
You know.
you had a question?
My question is, what does it cost to dump a TV in Thornton or Plymouth? Do you know?
No, I did it one time.
In
And I
Thornton,
You
I
probably
believe-
just dumped yours and ran.
I believe it's $10 or
Yeah.
$15.
I think it's similar to what, because we went through that and
Right.
adjusted the
Right.
fee schedule.
Right.
And I think it's similar.
But again, you can only access those when their staff is there, and you know,
Right.
they've got it's gated and everything. So
Right.
it's a limited access. So motor vehicle registrations are doing well. We're
Okay.
pretty much on budget there. There is a bit of a end of the year bump that we get. I always worry about that until December.
Is that because all the commercial plates
Yeah,
are
there's
due?
some commercial. The buses are due, I
Yeah.
think, in November, right? Yeah.
December's a big month.
December, yeah. Interest, we've gotten some payments from taxes and past due water and sewer accounts. That's why that's almost 50%.
Now, now that you mentioned that, just refresh me. What's the when we have somebody who has not paid their taxes or their water
Yes.
and sewer fees,
Yes.
and maybe they're different, and then gives us a huge chunk of money? How is that accounted for?
It's realized in this year.
It is.
Yes, it
So
is.
and it comes in as a revenue line.
It comes in.
And what would be the
under
revenue
this.
line of
It's under permits, fees, and interest.
Permits, fees, and interest. Okay.
Yep.
And how is it accounted for in the other? In case, I mean, obviously, we never collect 100% of the taxes. When somebody doesn't pay their taxes,
Yes.
how is that shortfall covered?
That's what our overlay each year helps cover. The overlay covers abatements.
Okay.
And then on our balance sheet, we're currently carrying $90,000 for unpayable or
Unpaid
unpaid taxes.
Okay.
We, right now, through 2009, are 100% collected. We have collected every dollar that we billed
Through 2009.
through 2009.
Right.
We have some outstanding liens for 10, 11, 12.
Right.
And 13, but we have collected 100%. So I think that $90,000 reserve, that the auditor picked that number, I think that's pretty conservative.
So we create a reserve.
Out of the undesignated fund
I got
balance,
you.
we
All right.
designate it for uncollectibles.
All right. All right. Thank you. Anything else on the finances?
No, I'm fine.
Mike? Okay. Department head updates. Jim, we've got you here. Can I'd like to start with, because I've gotten some questions about the dumpsters again, people complaining that on the weekend, on the weekend in particular, the dumpsters are full, and I've noticed that I've come down here a couple times on Saturday, and they are fairly full. And there appears to be a couple of different stories as to why the dumpsters aren't out there. One is that we're trying to get the ones that are out there fuller, so we're not giving as many choices. The other is, someone told me, they were told that that a lot of our dumpsters have rusted out and they're being repaired.
I've got 2 in repair right now.
All right, so that story isn't true.
Well, we also have the ones that have been taken out of service.
Right.
The ones that are up there. We have 13 right now.
Yeah,
that
have
are
been
up there.
taken
What would-
out. I
would-
mean, we
would-
do have a collection of.
We have a collection of totally unserviceable
Right.
dumpsters.
You mean
So-
trash?
Yes, trash
Yeah,
dumpsters.
trash.
So
Well, no, I mean they're literally going to go in the trash if they're unserviceable.
They're going to be recycled.
We
Yeah,
can
they're
sell
gonna-
them, can't we?
Yeah, we're going to sell them
I'll
for
see,
scrap.
I'll see if we can
Okay,
entice the same individual to purchase them again.
right.
Now, I hate to ask what might be a dumb question here. Is it possible that we can trade in old dumpsters on new dumpsters? Do the people that sell dumpsters resurface them and remanufacture them?
I asked that.
Okay,
We have looked into that.
I
okay.
asked that question.
So they're just scrap. What are they worth as scrap? $100 a piece, $200?
They would. The last batch that we disposed of, we were able to collect $200 a piece for.
Okay. And how long would you say these dumpsters lasted?
I'm not quite sure when these particular dumpsters. Well, we didn't buy. Mr. Kingston had bought those, and they are originals. So whenever,
Wow.
I mean, a lot of them have been
I
repaired.
mean, they're talking
once
40
or
years?
twice.
No.
No.
Probably not that long.
No.
Probably in the 80s, 90s,
Okay.
or
Yeah.
90s.
So they're 20
years old.
So
20
20
years
years old,
20
and they
years
cost
old,
about $2,000 a piece.
Yeah, depending on
Okay.
size.
So they've got it. Okay, so it's
But most of those have been repaired.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
I understand that.
So
Yeah.
we've put a little bit of
Right.
money into them, but metal is, I mean, steel sheets are not that expensive compared to the cost of a new dumpster.
No, got you. Just
So,
trying to get an economy of scale.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we continue to, I know that you're continuing to look at it.
We
The
are.
problem that we've got is, and at some point we need to come back and decide where to go, is how to solve the, make it, well, obviously get the density of recycled materials in the containers up, and at the same time make it accessible for people to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that you've talked to, other vendors who make all these things in terms of what other style, types, blah, 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 all that stuff. It might be available to meet our needs.
Yeah, the problem is that there's so few that make a dumpster
Right.
with the type of covers that we require and the type of doors that we recover. The majority of the manufacturers make them with plastic covers and doors.
And the reason that and I know you've probably told us before, why are plastic covers and doors unacceptable to us?
Because they are not bear-proof.
The bears will get into them.
Have we, if you ask the people who make those types of dumpsters, they say, oh yeah, forget it, bears are gonna go right through these, or they don't have any other suggestion on a way to bear-proof the enclosure or something?
Yeah.
No. If you get a 350-pound bear on top of a plastic lid, he's going through. If he wants to, I mean,
Or he's going to
even
rip
with
it off.
these, a big black bear, if he really wants to, will get into these. The way they are. I mean, if he
bent
really
the
wants to.
corners up. We've had to replace covers because the bear has bent the corner up to get in the dumpster.
I know, but the dilemma is it's frustrating.
If the
that
bear
our little
can't-
fuzzy
then our
friends
people
here
can't
are,
do it.
Yeah.
yeah, are.
We can't
Right.
get
God,
it.
we don't
The
have
bears have no
prisons, right?
trouble opening the covers, but the residents can't.
Right.
That alleviates some of the ongoing discussion.
There's one possible, the National Forest does have some dumpsters that have a sliding top,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
metal. And we could look
Yeah,
at doing that.
if it had a slider on the top as well as the sides, that would give us more accessibility for our people.
The problem, it's the
As
way
long
we
as it's-
dump it into
as long
the
as
truck.
No, but
it's
still,
not
if-
too
it
tall.
doesn't.
I mean, you know,
What I'm suggesting is the regular top that we use
Right.
now, but with a
With
sliding
a
door
sliding
on the
door
top.
On the top.
Well, let me ask you a question, just Jim, and just say we're thinking out loud here, and because we don't have much on the agenda anyway here. So, let's suppose your garage is in place, and there are a few more people wandering around doing other jobs. During the day, the 8 hours a day, 5 days a week that are generally populated, are bears a problem during that period in time? No. The bears are the problem at night.
Yes.
Or on the weekends when there's nothing else much around.
Right. And bears are a problem because some of our guests like to spread peanut butter on the trash dumpsters.
What?
To attract the bears.
They do.
So they can take pictures.
So how long has this been going
on? It's been going on for a long time.
And now that is up at the condos or here or?
At the condos.
Generally at the condo.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, at night when I leave here, I swing through, and generally I get out and I clip the open doors that are down here. When I come back in the morning, it has been my habit to use the entrance down here, swing through, and I'm still finding open doors in the morning.
I'm just thinking again out loud, particularly relative to recycling, more than the trash. Whether some kind of a big open top container and we would just make it open only during those periods where we felt we had some reasonable coverage and take a chance with the bears. I don't know, just something to think about.
We could do a roll-on 25-yarder, right? I mean, a big one.
Yeah, and then we'd have to have some... we would have to make it easily accessible to the majority of our residents.
Right. No, you'd have to design it so somebody could come and, you know, throw stuff in it easily. I mean, which means we'd have to put a ramp, we'd have to cover it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we'd have to do. I'm just at this stage, even as, you know, what might be some alternative solutions to
Town
this
of
thing.
Holderness has some steps up to the
Right.
top of their,
Yeah,
on the side of their dumpsters.
Okay.
Instead of a ramp where you would drive, they have
So
steps.
you take your stuff up and
Take
they
your
walk
stuff
up a
up,
set
you
of
walk up
steps
and dump it
and
in.
then
Right.
and dump
I mean,
it in
it-
off the top, right?
It could be.
Yeah, slider of the you know, a slider on the top which stairs up. You know, we're gonna have to fiddle around till we can find something. Because my main concern is that we can't be sending half-filled containers. You know, I mean, it's just not.
Well, it's the half-filled truck, and the fact that we have to
Right.
make so many trips around town
Right.
to try to get a full truckload on.
Right.
I think that maybe down the road, and I know it's a capital investment, but once this building is in place, it may be feasible to locate a compactor for trash and a compactor for recyclables with access from with drive-up access.
Right.
Okay, and they just dump it in, and then when those containers are full,
we tell them
we
off.
have the
call
particularly the recyclables.
They'll be big enough. So
right. Oh,
that
I've got you because I'm familiar with the ones up at the mountain.
Right.
It saves us manpower. It saves us truck power. It saves us gas and all that. I think that's a wonderful idea to start researching.
But
and look ahead
everybody
with.
would need to come here or wherever the compactors are.
Well, I'm willing to go that far to say that you know to solve this problem.
Right.
Everyone's going to have to take their trash to a central station. And yeah, there may be some screens, but then again, right.
Okay.
Or you bear the cost of putting your own compact. You know, if you want to put your own, then we'll
let's
certainly
also
give you a device.
We're still looking at the private haulers.
Right. Let's see what the private haulers say with an idea, which would probably be, if they come in with a proposal for us, you know, their proposal is going to be well thought out through the experience they have as a private hauler and cost effective. So let's wait.
Okay.
We're going to wait anyways. But, okay.
All right. Anything else?
First day of mowing.
First day of mowing. The
Is
grass
the
is
Mark it on
growing.
your calendar.
Yes. Has the mowing flag been raised?
Yes. It's better. For me, it's better than the first day of plowing. So.
Yes, and you
so
won't,
I thought it was worth mentioning.
you won't be called in at 3:30 in the morning to mow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we do have a non-mandatory Is it mandatory tomorrow?
Non-mandatory.
Non-mandatory pre-bid for the water main project tomorrow.
4 companies have pulled plans.
Okay, and who are they?
Our
usuals?
the usual local guys
Yeah.
and Lyman has pulled it.
Andrews, Lyman, White,
Lyman wants to come back?
Lyman, yeah.
yeah, Jamco,
Oh, so we got a 5th one?
yeah, and,
Okay. There were 4 as of Monday.
right.
Well, it's a
Right.
fairly sizable project, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Water meter pits,
Just,
Going pretty
the actual well itself has been dug?
Yes.
Okay.
meter pits are going on. He'll be moving to Mountain Brook tomorrow to do the 4 in Mountain Brook.
And Mark tells me we have not heard from DES relative to Village.
I have not heard that Village has heard from DES relative to Village. Correct.
Okay?
Yeah. We've got the flashboards up, so the pond is filling.
Pond is filling as we speak. Good.
As we speak. Took a while for it to get down low enough so we could put the flashboards in.
There have been reported some sightings of loons in Corcoran's Pond.
Wow.
Have you seen any
No,
loons?
I
They
saw
didn't stay.
a pair of, and I can't remember what the name of the ducks are.
They're white.
They're
with a
white
black
bodied
head.
with a black head.
Oh,
That's
maybe
either the male
look
or
like
the-
loons.
And then the other one was all black and would almost look like a loon.
Okay.
And I think that's the female.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I not that I would encourage loons because they are really protected.
Yes.
I mean,
We'd
so
have
we'd
to
have to
cordon
start
off the
doing all kinds.
area.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
we would
they
not
are-
be
they
able
are
to
really
shoot
protected
fireworks from
birds.
our barge. That
Yeah.
would be a big deal. In
Well, the
December.
little
I'm
boats
just-
are probably
We've got to
doomed.
change the topic because I'm just going to say things you wouldn't want out on the internet.
All right.
And of course, you can see we're down to almost ready to dig for footings.
Right.
This building over here.
Good. All right.
That's about it, I think, unless you have any questions.
No, rec.
Rec department, the boats, they're starting to prep the boats. You moved
Moved them all
everything
yesterday.
yesterday.
Yep.
They're getting the beach ready, preparing. They have the staff, as I wrote you last week. They have their summer staff selected for the waterfront and the camps.
And do we know who these people are? Because it mentioned some
They're
people.
all all but three of them are returning from last year.
Oh, okay, so it
Yeah,
wasn't a
they're
lot
all
of
the
change.
same people. There's not a lot of changes, maybe 4.
And did we
Better.
hire positions?
We hired the assistant
Right.
director position. She will begin work a week from Tuesday. She will start, so 2 weeks from yesterday. Let's see, what else? Some of the summer staff will start earlier to get
Up to speed
Stuff
because you
ready.
don't have an
Yeah.
established.
right. Other rec stuff. I can't think of anything. Cleanup day was this afternoon.
Yep.
Right.
I think that's it. For
The waterfront and the fishing derby.
Oh, the fishing derby
On Memorial
coming
Day
up on
weekend.
Saturday, and the waterfront, the boats will actually be opened on Saturday.
That's
Okay.
a large part of
That's
bringing
coming up.
staff on board now, so they can operate that pre-season on weekends.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
Public safety wise, the Citizens Academy is
Continuing tonight,
today.
right?
Tonight. The ladder truck is still being repaired. I don't have a date on it yet to be back in service.
Did we get any other estimates on like the exhaust leak and things like that?
Nothing that Chris has mentioned to me.
Okay.
I will check with him.
Okay.
I can't think
All right.
of anything else.
Well, moving on then. Calendars. We do have a conflict on the 28th, I
Yeah.
believe, right? So,
Could I suggest that we just reschedule that meeting to June 4th, which is the Wednesday?
Sure, it works for me.
It's another week.
And then we could do the 4th and
Do
the,
3 meetings in June instead of 2?
or just 2 meetings. We
Right.
don't necessarily have to do the 11th unless we want to.
Got it. Yes, that'll work. And we're going to try to get Chris to come down for this meeting.
Yes.
But again, to have, you know, our primary interest talking to Chris is relative to the buses. If he's not, you know, he
Right.
needs to be prepared to discuss how they came up with the numbers for the buses.
Right.
If he doesn't have that information, he's wasting his time.
Yep.
He's wasting
Okay.
our time.
Okay.
All right.
There's one thing though, with the internal meter installations,
Internal meter
Because
installations.
the
in
inside the
homes.
single
Right.
family homes and
Right.
the condos.
Yep,
We did not get any bids.
right.
Okay. Rural development, we've been working with rural development on what options we have. We're getting numbers from Dana White, which will be a contract amendment. He will act as the general contractor, the controlling entity, and he will have plumbers working for him,
Right.
or meter installers working for him. We'll do it under the same contract with just a change order. Do you care if I send you numbers via email for the contract amendment? Or do you wanna meet and talk about it and vote?
How
To
much
do the
money
amendment.
are we
Yeah.
talking
Well,
about?
it's gonna be a couple $100,000.
More than we had planned in our
No,
budget.
no,
See,
no,
that's
it's-
the question I have.
Okay, it's not gonna increase, it's the total budget. We had 2 pieces. We had the externals and we had the internals.
Right.
Mhm.
The externals are under budget right now,
Right,
and the internals, we're waiting for him to get the number back.
right. So
But we had $300,000 roughly budgeted for the internal meter installation.
right, but my concern is because
Mm-hmm.
you're not dealing with one vendor who is, meaning an established vendor who does
Right.
this every day. You're dealing with Dana and a bunch of plumbers who are probably.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
concern
I see
is
what you mean.
that if that 300 becomes 450, we need to know about it.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Even though if we're short 50 or so from the external
Yep, yep.
things, we need to know where it's going to fall.
Absolutely. No,
But the problem we
absolutely.
have is we don't have any other option, realistically.
That's correct. But what I would do is I will send you the number that we get back from Dana. It'll be an all-encompassing number. It'll have his GC charge in it.
Right.
It'll have a total amount for the installation of the meters. If that number does not exceed the budget that we had,
Then it's
is
no-
it okay to
Yeah.
just do it as an amendment? I mean, I'll send you an email.
If it does not.
Well, yeah, I think the answer to that question is probably yes. What alternative do we have? To go and ask for bids again?
But we have a time constraint because we have to be
That's
done
right.
by October.
But we have
That's
to be
right.
done by the end of the year, that's what I'm
Right.
saying. So,
That's
I mean,
right. So we don't have any option
we
right
don't
now.
have, our problem is what do we do if his estimate comes in at
Well, then we would have to have a
$500,000?
meeting and talk about
Then
it.
we got a
Right.
problem.
That's right.
Yeah.
If my suggestion, Mark, if there's 300,000 in that compartmentalized
Mhm.
line for that installation, not including, say, a $30,000 or $50,000 savings from this end,
Right, no,
or
no, no.
or going to contingency for other
Right,
money.
right. Absolutely.
If he can do, if he says he'll do it for the 300 in the line there, I don't think you need to notify us.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, just let
Well,
us
I'll
know.
Oh,
tell
let
you.
us know, but I don't
we
think.
don't have to
Right,
vote
it's-
on
it's
it.
nothing we
Okay,
have to-
no. If it exceeds the budgeted number,
then we
then
need.
we need to meet and we need to talk about it. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Yep.
All right.
right.
Otherwise, we'll just do it as a contract, because rural development is gonna have a problem if the number significantly exceeds the budgeted.
Right,
You know, they're not gonna let us just carte blanche
right.
do this. We're gonna have to figure out what to do. Okay,
Okay,
got it.
all right. Anything else?
Nothing I can
Nothing. Okay.
think of right now.
Anything on the website from our IT department head?
Yeah, actually communicated with them yesterday. We're going to start loading the live website next week. We're still weeks away from a rollout, but that initial image is actually like a real live site at this point. Now it's about getting all our information into it.
Okay, good. All right, new business. We've got the first half tax bills. We need to sign
Which I
warrants.
received mine today.
Yes. There's the warrant.
I think I did get mine today.
Yes, you did. Hopefully you did. The total tax bill, or the total warrant that you're signing is $2,053,175. That's exactly 1/2 of our total tax bill from last year.
Right.
Actually, Mike, you were asking about, or you mentioned the collections, as part of the request. I have put a request for bids out on the 800,000 for the building. And as part of that, they have us do a little bit of financial information
Right.
for the banks.
They want to know
what we're
what our
collecting.
receivables are.
Yeah, so our current collection rate for 2011 is 99.58%. For 2012, 99.17, and 2013, 98.7. So those are pretty good collections. Our top 5 taxpayers are all current, which is another piece of information they ask us. So just so you know, we're doing pretty well.
Okay.
Do you have that sheet? Did you both sign it?
I'm used to handing them to Sharon.
Yeah.
Storage of historical town files and materials.
Yeah. This is not a decision today, perhaps, but if we still are waiting for the numbers back on the room, the bunk room for
Yes,
public safety
right.
renovations to this building. When we do that, we currently have all of the town maps,
Right.
which we can move into our current lunchroom area. We can make do for space for those things. There are 2 wall cabinets that are full of historical data, and 2 or 3.
What would historical? This is of
It can be
significance.
photos. It can be
So it would be old
old documents, photographs. I think there's memorabilia in there from the old ski area. There's a bunch of stuff in those cabinets. So we have these 2 wall locker size cabinets, and then we have 2 4-drawer file cabinets that have historical documents in them, town clerk type documents,
Are
and
they
financial information.
are they
So-
records that we're required
Yes.
to keep?
Well, those records we are required to keep. The memorabilia, it's a historical society
Right.
sort of thing.
Right. The memorabilia. Right. So, but we've got some sets of records that
Yes.
we are required to keep these.
Those 2 4-drawer file cabinets we could probably put somewhere around town hall, but it's those wall lockers
Yeah.
that I'm most concerned about.
With the memorabilia.
With the memorabilia and photographs and stuff like that.
And what are your
Well, there's no room that we can put those cabinets into right now.
the has anybody gone through this stuff?
Yeah, they go through it several times a year, and
Okay.
it's stuff that people want to keep.
How big are these cabinets?
They're probably 6 feet wide,
By how
And-
deep?
8
8
feet
foot
tall.
tall.
Yeah, 8
How
by
deep?
6. How deep?
3 feet?
2 or 3 feet.
So they really
2.5, 3
really
feet.
stick out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And see, the problem is we get electric heat in
Oh
here,
no, I
so
understand.
we can't.
I'm wondering if we could put it over against them over the wall there, but build them up off the floor for now. Put them on some 2x4s or something
Yeah.
to keep them away from, and just put them there for now.
Yeah, I think we could. It's going to be a little tight to the ceiling, but I think we might be able to do that.
Just to get them out of the way for now, and as we're going on with plans for the future.
And that's what I wanted to check with you, because this room is basically the only space that we have
Right.
any wall space for them.
Right. See if it
I
works.
just hate to, yeah, I don't wanna lose this stuff. It's
Yeah.
kinda, it's irreplaceable at this point,
The memorabilia.
yeah.
Is it really, I mean, 100-year-old memorabilia, or is it just, oh, I remember that person, I saw that, you know, are the pictures?
Some of the photos are on glass, they're
So they're really
daguerreotype,
old,
there's
daguerreotypes,
really
they're pretty old
old
stuff.
stuff,
Well,
yeah.
We pulled documents out of
And
the
there's-
attic dated 1864.
Yeah.
all right, can I ask a question? Could we maybe go and get this stuff archived onto disk, microfiche, or whatever, and then find some off-site storage for it?
We have looked into that. It was very pricey the last time we
Yeah.
looked into it. When we redid the map, we asked that same archival company to give us a quote, and I want to say some of these boxes of photographs and stuff, I think to get those whole cabinets done was in excess of $30,000.
The photographs is, you know, the memorabilia is one category.
Right.
The stuff that I would ask, if you're required to simply keep certain documents,
Right.
because, you know, is it acceptable to have microfiche copies
It
of
is.
those documents?
It is.
Uh,
But I think digitizing them at this point is probably better than
Yeah, right.
microfiche.
Yeah, whatever
Yeah,
the
yeah,
you know,
whatever
whatever the
the-
methodology is, I
Right.
don't care. But I'm wondering on the documents portion of it whether we'd be better digitizing and just tossing the paper.
Yeah.
Because the paper's going to deteriorate anyway. The memorabilia, the photographs and
Right.
memorabilia, you know, we'll have to come up with some kind of, you know, I keep thinking, why isn't this stuff in our, you know, in the library? But the library ain't big
Has no
enough.
space.
What about, could we annex the library?
I'd
Could we
love
think
to.
of that as-
I've actually
You even
talked
want to
about.
throw the library out?
No,
No, I mean,
no.
build an addition to the library.
Well, yeah.
I've thought
Yeah,
going
we
out
can
the
go
back
out the back.
door
Yeah.
and put a little
Yeah.
hallway and then have
Right.
another
Yeah.
room.
I mean, because
and
That
could
would
be
cost
where
about the
have
same as the
memorabilia
30,000.
upstairs is of no value to anybody.
At least
That's
people
right.
would be able to see it.
That's right.
Why don't we,
Well,
why
it's
don't
some-
we make that an action item on a slow move?
Okay.
You know, at least think about it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, just
Not on a
adding
fast track,
something and then creating a little permanent collection. And, you know, that would include some
Right.
storage and some space where they could have a
Right.
rotating kind of.
Yeah. And people would actually go to the
Display.
library to look at this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and locking them away in
Yeah.
here is
Well, yeah, it's
silly.
just sitting up there. Right.
So two things. You'll take a look. On the documents, could we digitize them?
Archiving. Yeah.
And then get rid of all the paper. And then from here on in, don't keep paper anymore.
Right.
You know, we'll just scan them and digitize
Yeah.
them. And then on the other stuff, the memorabilia, you know, I like Mike's suggestion. If we could do a small addition to the existing library, it'd probably be nice.
Call it a
Talk to
museum.
Trustees.
Hmm?
Yeah.
A museum.
Yeah,
Yeah, a
historical
little museum.
society. Yeah.
Right.
Good. Okay, I'll talk to the trustees. I've had that
Well,
conversation.
you know, if we offered to give them the space, I don't see why they wouldn't.
Sure.
Well, who knows what they're going to say.
Yes. Very good. Love it.
All right. Sign permit.
You have two actually. There's
Let me ask you. This is generally because somebody asked me the question. There is what our policy on sign permits after they get approved. Are they given a life at the time of
You-
application?
only if you give it a life.
I mean, there is a sign sitting up on the top of that little hill by the golf
Yeah,
course
no.
That's
saying "New home going to be built here shortly."
yes.
Well, that sign's been there for 2 years, hasn't it?
yes, it has.
And is there a, see, that's one of the questions.
There was no limitation on the time.
Okay,
At the time that sign
Can
was
we
approved,
make a limitation
Well,
on the sign?
You can limit it. You can
well,
give it an
I mean, if he isn't going to
expiration.
build, take the sign down.
Well-
That's my
Well,
But
argument.
see-
that's what the Fortons are asking for. The Deborah and Mark Fortin.
Are they own
request.
that little sign?
No, they
Yeah.
own the one beside it.
Okay.
Right.
They saw that little sign that you're talking about.
Right.
They want to put up a sign exactly like that.
That
Well,
says.
just-
That
it-
faces Route 40, one that
Right.
faces Route 49.
This is the sign?
and- Yes, it is.
it's not exactly the same.
Well, I know.
because
I
I understand, Mike. I'm
Oh,
just,
no, let me, first, I might have to recuse myself and we might not be able to get a vote today on this issue.
Right.
Because I do represent a piece of property up in that same neighborhood that I'm the listing agent for. But I think that there should be some kind of containment for what people, might be shooting myself in the foot as a realtor here. But the signs of development, if there is no development, there should be a point where the signs come down.
See,
You're right.
the board never approved until recently, like the last couple of years. There were no signs allowed on
Right.
any lots until it was actually there was construction on it. And then they could put up the 3x5 sign.
Showing who is the
Showing
constructor,
who
who's the
the
listing agent.
Right. And that was more, it started out because of deliveries
Right.
for the contractor. So his sign went up there. When the realtors wanted to have a sign also, the board at the time said, you can put who the listing agent is or the realtor is if it is part of the 3x5 contractor sign. And then when the construction was over, that sign
comes
came down.
off.
And that's the way we did it for years, and then this
And we have
particular one
generally
you're
not
talking about.
allowed signs that are
We have not allowed.
offered for sale.
That's
Right.
correct. That has not been
Right.
allowed.
And I'm saying we have to stick with that because then every realtor and every individual would want a sign.
And what's
This is
this
saying
sign?
just
He
just
wants
for
to-
sale.
It's
This is
gonna
not-
be-
I'm assuming that .77 acres is for sale.
Exactly.
yes.
But
It doesn't say for sale, but he's,
Right. But I think the issue that comes up is that we've made the exception for the for sale sign when a developer is in active development of a piece of property. To allow, exactly what Mark said, to allow
Only-
people to identify the property, for
That's correct.
vendors to identify the property, and if there's future development for the realtor to be the contact
Correct.
as well.
Yes.
I think
so I'm not, that's what they're asking for, is this
it's
sign?
just a for sale sign.
They're asking for the same sign that you saw on the lot next door to
No,
the lot.
the
Well,
difference on the lot next door,
Yeah.
it says build your dream house. It also, it is a builder advertising as well as a
As
real
the
estate
real-
office.
Right.
And that's where
Whose
we have
sign
to
is
create,
that?
it's Brian
It's
Blanchard's.
Brian Blanchard and
And
the
Waterville
Waterville
Realty.
Valley Realty.
It's the same thing with on the Abode site over
That's
on
correct.
Devereaux Road. It's the
That's
same thing,
correct.
it is Waterville Realty and Abode.
That's correct. So
The question is, if these people had a builder that they were contracted with to build on this property and came as a builder and a real estate agent, we couldn't say no based on the precedent we have now.
that's right.
Right.
What you have
If
done
they began
historically.
actively building.
No,
as long-
because we haven't made that stipulation on the other lot on Moose Run, the one there's Brian Blanchard and
Well, I'm
Waterville
about-
Realty.
I-
They
I-
have not built
But
it.
I think he's.
I think what I would say is I don't know under what pretext. I believed we granted that with the understanding that someone had bought and intended to develop that lot, and they have not
They-
done it.
I-
Therefore,
I-
as far as I'm
yeah.
concerned, they've got to remove the sign.
When that
The
that
sign's
sign
gotta
was
come
put
off.
up, it was because a home was going to be
Be
built.
built
Right.
there. There were plans
Yes,
at one
there were
time,
plans.
and I'm assuming
Right.
that that's, I don't remember when we approved
Has a
that.
building permit been pulled for that?
No.
Can we make that the criteria that a building permit has to be pulled to allow?
Well, I'm fine with
Right.
that. That's,
Well-
that's your call.
See, but I don't know if I could be involved in this conversation, being a realtor, being allowed
Well, you
to
don't,
vote for
you
this.
feel uncomfortable voting on it.
Right.
Well, that's you whatever you want to do. So then we'll have to put it off to the next meeting. I think
But what should I do about the sign that is up there
I think you
now?
ought to notify Brian Blanchard that we do not allow signs in this town that advertise lots for sale.
Okay.
And he'll have to take his sign down. Now, because it was granted under the assumption that someone was actually
Okay.
going to build there and it was a contractor's sign.
Right.
And if he's got a problem with that, he can come to the next selectmen's meeting.
Okay.
But as far as I'm concerned, he should remove it.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if we have to vote on that.
Well,
Well, I don't think you can. I think Mike's
See-
right. He would be right to recuse himself.
right, but the
from-
question I have, the
But
basic
in
question
in the interim, can we tell him and see if he'll do it on his own? We expect you to remove the,
Yeah. No, I can call.
Except
Call them and say,
If that's what you want.
Well,
What do you-
just before you,
Yeah.
you go that way, and I
ahead.
wasn't involved in this, but here is my question. What was the criteria that this sign was granted on? Was it granted on with a stipulation that you have to build and within a certain amount of time?
I
And
doubt if that was
yeah.
in the paperwork,
No,
but
it
that
was
was
not.
the understanding, because I do
Okay.
remember it as it was presented, that a house was going up on that lot. In fact, there was a name of somebody who had bought the lot,
I
and
thought-
he was gonna build it
Okay,
and all
okay,
this other
okay.
stuff.
No, I've got you.
I think I even represented to the board that it was gonna be the regular 3 feet by 5 foot sign.
Right,
And because it was gonna be an ongoing construction site.
Right.
yeah.
And then something changed and they
Right.
put the smaller sign
No,
up.
no,
but they kept it.
I agree with this, because if we don't have any kind of guideline to this, anybody can put a sign on their house, on anything.
Well,
It opens the door.
Signs offering property for sale are not allowed.
Right.
So
in
the
town, right?
abode sign
Except we
has
let
to come
Margaret
down
do it
too,
on
right?
her house.
Only,
open hou-
only
open house with
open
someone-
house are the
Yeah,
exception,
okay,
and
gotcha.
she met the criteria of
Okay,
an open
gotcha,
house.
gotcha.
Right.
Well, should the abode sign come down also?
Is
Because isn't
offering a
the
lot
sign
for
still-
sale?
Well, I think it's offering that property for sale over by the BBTS, isn't it?
No, the sign well, I don't know if there's one up there, but there's also another lot up there he's developing and building.
Well, but he's not actively building, there's no
Yeah,
building permit on it.
yeah, see, this is where
Well, then I think the sign ought to come down. If the purpose of, the original purpose and intent of those signs was to allow the builder and the architect to have a sign while a piece of property was actually being built and developed.
Yes.
And and they built it and developed it. It wasn't a sign to offer for sale. It was just to make a note of such and such a builder and such an architect worked on this house, right, or designed this house. And
and for
if they're
deliveries.
finished, then take
But-
the sign down.
But here, back to my question. The abode situations are different than this situation. The abode, and different than the Brian Blanchard situation, where abode has that land where he is actively looking for people to buy the next phase of this condo development over on Devereux Way.
Right.
But the same thing exists over on the Snows Mountain House. There is a second lot that he has the plans inside for, that he is looking for someone to buy and he will build. So he is the builder and the developer.
But he can't have a sign until
he
your
starts
point, until he gets a
construction.
building permit and
Yeah.
starts
See,
construction.
that's why I wasn't part of that conversation.
Right.
And I don't know that. That's why I have to stay out of it. But that's the question I have. Whereas the Green Peaks development is an ongoing development of 15 units or something like that.
No, they have built what they are permitted for. If they
Okay.
wanna build another building, they have to come back in for
Right.
another site
Another
plan.
sign.
And they've gotta
Is there-
have another approval.
Is there still a sign on Green Peak?
I think there might be.
There is.
That ought to come down as well.
Well, I think what you need to do is have a meeting.
We'll have to have a
with-
discussion. We'll get
with-
Margaret back here, and the two of us will talk about
Right,
it at
and
the next
also
meeting. So
have a discussion
defer
with
to
these
meetings.
builders.
But you know, it is always was my understanding that we do not allow signs that offer property for sale.
See, the question that I have, is the property considered under sale when there is the property is working with a developer? Is it a different thing than just trying to sell a lot to somebody? Or is it a different thing? Do we want to try to help development by allowing a sign up for a realtor who's in partner with a developer to create interest in something where there are plans for? That's
I think that's the question, and
Right.
I mean, let's say out on River Road beside you, there's a vacant lot. Would we allow
If a builder-
would we allow Brian Blanchard to put a sign there that says?
if he was in partnership. That's the question that I'm asking. We have to decide whether that is how we want to go. Do we want to help builders/developers advertise their product as opposed to an individual? Meaning the Waterville company, instead of them having 26 signs lot for sale, could it only be the lots where they have a contract with a builder or something like that? Is there a criteria we want to look at?
Well, you raise a point. We'll talk about it at the next meeting.
Yeah.
I am,
Okay.
but
So-
you're right. I mean, if you don't want to, if you've And I fully respect that you want to recuse yourself from the market on authority, and we could make it known to other developers and builders that we're going to have a discussion about what constitutes, what's the difference between offering something for sale, which, you know, and are we going to allow signs that essentially something is now being offered for sale? You know, up to now, you know, but apparently we've got some issues because we've got some creeping cases where people are
Well,
doing
we've
it.
got 3 creeping cases
Right.
right now that are
So
kind
we
of
oughta,
outside
we ought to
of
debate it.
what we
And
have.
I'm certainly not opposed to having a developer or builder come and share their opinion as to
Yeah.
what they think we ought to do.
Okay, so I should ask Roper to come in and.
But I think you should ask Brian
Talk.
Blanchard to come in and Bob Wiles to
Right,
come
oh,
in.
absolutely, and everybody, but,
And-
so you're gonna table this.
Right.
Right.
Until, okay,
Absolutely.
all right. Tabled until June.
Till the June meeting,
Yeah.
right? Resort Association request for payment, have
Oh,
you
wait a
seen
minute,
this?
though, we have another one. We have
Oh.
Meadowbrook Garages condominium. There's a second.
Yeah, and what was the purpose of this sign?
This sign will look exactly like our street sign, will be right below our street sign, and it will say private way. This is being requested by the Garages Association. They wanna try to minimize traffic that goes
Is
through
this
to the
on
back.
private property?
Yes, it is. It is a
Is
private.
it visible? I mean,
It's right on the intersection of Tecumseh Road and Garage Way.
in Garage Way, but it is,
Garage-
will be on private land.
That's correct. It's Garage Way is a private driveway. It's marked for 911 purposes. People use it as a cut through to the back of Mountain Brook and Mountain Meadow condos. So the Garages Association want to minimize traffic. They understand that our police department cannot ticket anyone for using it, but they're hoping that the fact that it says private way will help cut down the traffic. It'll be a green sign, the same as our road signs, routed.
I
All
do
of
not remember, Mark, and help me, our ordinance deals with posting of signs that are what, visible from, posting of signs anywhere, whether on private property, public
Anywhere.
property, anywhere. Okay,
And this one falls in your purview as a selectman because you control the roads and the streets, so.
I personally don't have a problem with them putting a sign up private way. We're gonna have the same problem over on,
Yeah.
behind Green Peaks,
Yes.
where people are cutting through that, and the best thing to do is stick a sign in there that essentially says, you know, this is not a thoroughfare.
I would also add to the sign if it was me, not a throughway or no exit on, something that would have looked,
Well, we're trying to make it look
Right.
as much
No,
like
no,
a
I
road sign
understand.
as we can, so private, they're okay with it saying private way at
yeah,
least.
but private way, that doesn't mean me.
Yeah,
You
Right.
know,
Right,
that's,
I
that's,
know.
the people that have used it
And-
to go to the back of Mountain Men are always
And
gonna be
Judy
there.
Ritchie is just trying this.
If they're
Yeah,
satisfied with
I-
that,
I don't have a
I'm
problem
okay
with it
with
either.
that. I'll make a
Okay.
motion to approve the Meadowbrook Garages condominium request to add a private way,
Yep,
I don't know what you call that sign.
sign, just,
On the garage way sign.
Second,
All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
all right, good. All right,
Resort Association, have you seen this?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
now this is all but $6, there's no more.
no more money.
Yeah, I just want to check that with someone to make sure that we're under the same understanding. Because it got a little
He
bit
was
confusing.
actually expecting less. So
Okay,
this
there you
is
go.
more than
Okay.
what he was expecting. So if he has a problem, he should give me a call.
Oh, yeah, I just don't know because I get confused.
Because the other one was 4,200 or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
So.
no, not a problem. All right, I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The Forest Service sent us some information relative to 30-day comment on the ski area
Yeah,
project.
I didn't see any issue with it. I didn't
Why
think you would.
would,
Well, we receive these every now
Okay.
and then, but this one was actually something that people will see. So I wanted to
Oh.
give you an opportunity.
Yeah.
Most of them
The-
are out in the middle of the forest.
the o-
Don't matter, but
Right.
this one.
Well, this is all on property up at the mountain.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
The decision to take out the half pipe, I assume that the academy knows about this and they've shared this comment period with them.
I'm sure that the
yeah.
academy received this.
because I'm sure that the fan
Would
guns are
you-
there for the academy's
Will make-
benefit.
yeah.
Would you make sure that the academy
Mhm.
has received that copy? And we
Yes.
have no comment relative to it, but I would want to make sure they've received it because it's their half pipe they're taking out.
Yeah, just from reading this, I would think they would know because with the half pipe coming out and the fan guns being put in to give them it's more BBTS terrain. And it
Yeah.
talks about this.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So, but
So
no, it's a
hopefully
good point
they
for us to, yes,
participated.
in this
Right.
decision. Yep.
Yeah, but other than that, I don't think we have any comment,
No.
right?
I don't.
None of this is all up on the mountain.
All
None of
up on
this
the
is
mountain.
down on the valley
Nope.
floor where they use those fan guns too.
Nope, but you know that people are gonna see it and they're gonna ask you, so I just wanted you
Yeah.
to be aware of it, so,
Okay.
because they're up there.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, guns are guns. I mean, right?
I'll miss the half pipe.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Oh, you see, we send back a comment. Chris, where the hell do you expect us to ski now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was our favorite
Yeah.
toy. Selectmen used to ski the half pipe every day.
Yeah, Bill's up there doing 360s,
Yeah, right.
1080s, having a good
How am I
time.
going to train for the next Olympics?
Yeah, my tail grab is going to hell.
All right, we've talked about water and sewer business,
Yeah.
Yeah,
right? Land issues. What's land issues?
well, you wanna,
Yeah.
I did try to call the Brocks.
Al Lynch. Hello,
yes.
Buck. Mention-
yeah, I
I'll
think
let
we're
you-
still interested in pursuing
yeah,
that.
what-
I mean,
okay.
we were waiting for Lynch. Lynch said he was going to help us with this.
No, no,
thing.
he has. The Brocks were waiting for a phone call. Mark has reinstituted,
I have
opened the line of
called.
communication.
I mean,
Yeah.
if they have an interest in pursuing
Yes.
it, I think we ought to contact the
Okay.
Forest Service and see if they have an
Well,
interest
let's-
in pursuing it.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we're back on track. The dialogue's been opened up again.
Okay,
Yep.
good.
Okay. Bond anticipation note.
Yes, this is just continuing to
Yeah.
draw on the bond anticipation note. This one is for $200,000.
On the money, huh?
This brings us up to 1,575,000.
We need to get to 1.9.
1.9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think we'll have a problem doing that.
No, we're not gonna. Just keep paying Dana to get meters installed. We're gonna get pretty close.
Oh, okay. So this is no bond anticipation notes. This is not tax interest.
Before the
Right.
loan.
Right.
Yeah, before the rural development loan.
Are we getting this at .000
1.97.
interest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a little less
A
than
little more than that, huh? I assume it is illegal for the trustees to invest in our own bonds.
Yes. Yes, they cannot do that.
Okay, too bad. Any correspondence?
Yes, I got several things, correspondence. Peter Bragdon sent you a letter telling you that he is leaving the New Hampshire Senate.
Right.
And he's going to remain on as the executive director of the Health Trust, which is good for us. He's doing a great job.
I'm fine with
the
me.
Health Trust. Got a very good letter, very nice letter from Plymouth State University.
I saw that
um,
for Chris.
From Dr. Holba.
I know her.
For Chief Noyes,
Yeah,
doing an excellent job in one of the classes there. And just, thought if you were going to put it on the record to thank him and recognize him for,
Associate
Job.
Professor of Rhetoric.
yeah.
I could do that.
Yeah, I'm thinking there is a second career.
is this a
maybe.
volunteer kind of thing?
Yeah, it was a volunteer thing. He just worked with the senior seminar that they have, talking to graduating seniors for this year about going out and doing their interview process and
Okay.
writing resumes and stuff, and he did a great job. So, Also, I received, it's not an official piece of correspondence, I did receive our annual request for contribution to Theater Under the Stars, which
Okay.
we have historically taken out of our contingency account.
Right?
We don't budget a set line item for that. They've requested 3,000, we have historically paid 1,500.
Coming
so
back? I
They're
take it.
coming back.
Yep,
They'll have their work weekend on Memorial Day weekend.
right.
Um,
And I saw that Chris is not feeling well.
Chris
enough
is not
to-
feeling well, so they really do need
Yeah.
help this year, because he's not gonna be able to do the work that he normally does, which
Yeah,
they're gonna have some additional expenses because of that. So
I don't have a problem kicking it up to 2,000.
Okay,
Okay, you wanna make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we give them 2,000 of the 3,000 requested.
okay.
I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good.
Anything else?
I did tell you in the memo, we received letters from everyone in the delegation,
Right.
both federal and state, that they were saying that they got our
Result of our vote.
results of our vote. So
Did they comment one way or the other, or just acknowledged?
the state Senate and the state House, I guess, have had bills and constitutional amendments that have been proposed within the last 2 years that address these issues. They've all failed.
Yeah.
Some of
okay.
them haven't even made it out of committee.
Gotcha, we
So,
did what we were voted to
we
do.
did, yeah.
Question on, this. Any reason why Kristen, did he acknowledge coming here and say he couldn't make it, or just?
Yeah, so I talked to him
Okay.
after not the planning board meeting this month, but
Mhm.
last month. He is putting the numbers together.
Okay,
He's
gotcha.
been interviewed by the pedestrian village
right.
group. So he is working on it, and he can come in June, and hopefully he'll have the numbers together.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, you wanted to, now, what was it, you wanted to advance them some payment?
Well, Joan Sweeney called today. We are holding an invoice from them for $20,000, which historically we pay at this time of the year.
Yeah,
It's partially for the services that they've already rendered.
sure, I don't have a problem
And-
giving them the 20.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, because we still owe them another 28, right?
well, no,
Oh, this will be our final payment?
This will just about, I can tell you exactly what we have paid them so far. I think this will finish us off.
And now, one more topic of the ski area. Have we received,
No, this will put us at 40 out of the 48,000.
Should be 8 to go.
So
Yeah.
that'd be 8 to go.
question, the money they owe us in reimbursement for the bridge, have we been receiving that?
Yes, and in fact, we have it. We've received it for this year.
Okay,
Yep,
All right, I kind of agree with Mike then.
Yeah.
I don't.
we're okay paying that?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Sharon,
Yeah.
would you go upstairs? I printed an email. It's on the printer, I think. There should be 3 copies of it.
all right,
I just forgot to pick it
I'll
up.
make a motion to
pay them.
forward the 20,000.
Okay,
Right.
all right.
Second,
Aye.
all those in favor? Aye. Right. We have nobody here today.
Yeah,
So
let
no
me
more
just,
privilege of the
got
floor.
theater and
Anything else?
stars, just making sure. I do want to talk to you. I received a phone call from Chris Beerbrier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regarding town support of
The race
and
center?
the maintenance of the cottage.
Oh, okay.
Okay, not the race center in town square. I drafted this email that I've asked Sharon to get in response to Chris's questions. I just got a voicemail from her, so and I couldn't. She wasn't there when I called her back, so.
What is the?
Well, she was just asking what she's talking to Laylee on about additional support for the cottage.
Right.
And Lately told Chris, who's relatively new to the organization, that the town is responsible for the maintenance of the cottage, which we do the snow removal, we've done different things. We paid for renovations to the cottage and the moving of the cottage and the new, so this is my response to her, giving her a little bit of a history.
All right, Mark, when the cottage was part of our recreation budget, we not maintained the building.
We did maintain the building, sorry.
We did, or
We did.
So the knot should go out.
Right.
We
The knot will go
maintained
out.
the building.
We did maintain the building, sorry.
retain instead of ED.
Uh,
Maintain the building. We also paid utilities and other costs for the operation of the building. The race center, non-profit, the race center town paid. Right. So there is close to $4,000 left in the account for
Correct.
maintenance to be done around
Of
the
the
building.
trail.
Of the
That's what it was set
well,
aside
okay,
for.
what maintenance is she asking for?
Well, I don't think, she's gathering history, and she wanted to know when Lately told her that the town was responsible for the maintenance of the
Gotcha.
building.
It was the old,
She needed to know what that
right.
was.
It was before we were giving them the subsidy.
That's right. The subsidy has
Eliminate,
always
yeah.
been to take care of the building,
Right.
I thought. I mean, that,
I don't think it was ever designated as
It-
to
it-
what it was required, but you're saying at the point in time where the race center became a nonprofit, that although the town, basically we're saying although the town owns the building, it no longer paid for its maintenance.
We did not
and
pay
we
for it.
simply provided the $25,000. It's not a
Subsidy.
subsidy.
Well,
It's really a grant.
yeah. That was in lieu of us maintaining the building.
Right.
And I think some statement like that would make it a little clearer. When the race center became a nonprofit, right?
Mhm.
The town, right, although the town continued to own the building, we began the practice of paying a $25,000 annual grant to them
Mhm.
in lieu of, right,
Yeah.
paying the ongoing maintenance costs
Right.
of the building. You know,
Okay.
'cause we gotta stay
Right.
that it is our understanding at that point in time, we give you 25,000 a year, but we're not gonna pay for individual maintenance items anymore. But there was no, but there was 25,000 to
Right.
do with as you wanted.
Mhm.
You could use it
Right.
for maintenance, you could use it for whatever you want.
Right.
Okay.
And that the rest is correct. We did pay when they rebuilt the building, when it was clear that the termites were eating the thing to death.
Right.
We paid that
Like
one-time
50,000.
capital upgrade
Mhm.
of the building. And maybe that's the difference. I mean, if there was a capital upgrade of the building required, I think we might consider it again. But we're not gonna be in this maintenance. It's kinda like the
Right.
arena. I mean, we
Right,
don't
yeah.
pay for ongoing maintenance.
Right.
If there's a capital item that's
Right.
required, since we own the property,
Okay.
we'll consider it.
So you're
Okay.
you're willing to discuss capital?
I don't think we even need to bring that into the.
No,
the area
but if
like
that came up, as it
Okay.
did in 2010, we
Right,
said,
but that was
okay.
when
we're
we
not
moved the
gonna-
building and we.
We said we wanted to move it, and there was some problems with it, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Yes, there were.
and we'll pay to fix. In that case, it's
Right, but I
our
don't-
property. We'll pay to fix it.
Okay,
We have not deeded the property to them,
That's correct. The town
and
owns it.
we can't, right?
That's correct.
I mean, we don't even have an option to
If-
give it to them.
That's right. The name Curious George will go away
if we,
if we give up ownership.
okay.
Right.
The
Now-
town has to maintain.
Now
it.
let me cloud the water a little bit so we can maybe
Yeah.
have some clarification going forward. Is my understanding correct that when and as long as the building is being used as a adjunct science building for the school,
Mhm.
that we will continue to maintain the plowing of the parking lot, which is the shared parking lot, and the shoveling of the stairs.
Yeah, we've considered
yeah.
it a campus.
Okay, just,
Yes.
so maybe that should be,
So you're saying we do maintain the parking lot?
right,
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's
We
being
plow-
plowed for the rec department, it's being plowed for
Right.
them, it's being plowed for the schools. Yeah,
Okay.
the parking lot gets plowed.
Yeah.
Right, right, so we're
but
responsible.
the steps
that's a
getting
secondary.
shoveled off as
The
well.
steps getting shoveled off have been by a third-party contractor,
Right,
not by our
that's
guys.
what the point I'm trying to get at, because I know Dave Gaudioso was doing before.
Yes, but my understanding is the school has now said that they are not going to have a third party, and that the full-time person that they have
Right.
is going to be responsible for all grounds maintenance except plowing the parking.
Except plowing, so will the school person be responsible for shoveling the
Yes.
curious dirt?
Yes,
All right, so
that's
she-
what
I-
John Francis has said.
Okay, so I think she needs to know that she doesn't have to worry about that, it's included.
Okay,
Right, yeah, we're talking here the building.
Right.
You know, it's our understanding is we own and maintain the parking lots, walkways, those things.
yep,
Okay,
And-
that's a better way of saying it than I had, Bill.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maintain
right,
the walkways and the grounds.
Right,
Okay.
Yep,
yeah.
because he's gonna do the mowing in the
Right,
summer. and-
gotcha.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so you're.
Yeah,
all right
so
with
some
this?
letter, you know, it's like that, yeah, I just make it clear that it was our understanding that in lieu of paying the ongoing maintenance costs of the buildings, we
Right.
would provide a $25,000 annual stipend that they could use as they see fit. Let me ask you a question about who pays for the oil?
They have, as far as.
They have, so it's out of that 25 grand.
I
The
mean, I'll
cost to
check with
heat
the
the
school,
building.
but I'm pretty sure the school's paying for it, the Ray Center's paying for it, I don't think we are. Oil.
I don't know that they have oil. I think they have propane at the
Well,
cottage.
something-
And
or
so-
kerosene.
And I
Heat
think
and
that they
electric.
cover that. I
They
think
cover
that
heat
the
and
SAU
electric,
covers
they
the
cover.
school
I
building.
don't track that one.
You don't track it,
No.
so we're
Okay.
not paying you.
Right.
All right, good.
Yeah.
All right.
Fine, all right. Okay.
Thank you for that input.
Other board concerns, directives, action item
Anything-
list?
Anything else?
Big thing is we gotta get Chris down here and
Yep.
start a conversation. We should talk now without Chris being here. There have been some suggestions and I think as to what's appropriate in terms of asking Chris to share with the town or the Board of Selectmen a general status update regarding the mountain.
Okay,
You know, on one hand, it's a private business. On the other hand, unfortunately, it's the lifeblood of this. You know, it's one of the key lifeblood industries of this town. And should we be asking them, hey, what's going on up there?
No, I agree, I would rather get a clarification from him than have to answer a million rumors,
he's the number 2 taxpayer in town,
Yeah.
it's kind of important
right?
what's happening up there.
Well,
Sure.
it's the principal
And it's the
industry and
principal
business of
Right.
this
Yeah.
town, and we
Absolutely.
are interested in.
Sure.
In understanding that. So when he comes down, maybe we'll add that item to his list.
Okay.
And tell him
And
we
maybe you
should
can
be
prep him for that.
prepared,
I will.
that
Yeah.
we're gonna ask him a little bit about,
Yeah.
you know, can you give us some insight as to how's the, you know, where is it, and what, is there anything the town needs to know about and can do to help you?
Okay,
I mean, obviously we can't give them money, but that doesn't mean there aren't other things we can do. We are interested in them being successful.
okay. I will prep it.
Okay.
All right. I think that's it, right? Other than we've got.
Yeah, I don't have, Sharon, I don't remember anything
Okay.
from the,
We have
Previous
one
meeting.
domicile request here.
yeah, and I've had several conversations with people on delinquent taxes that I need to
Okay,
update you
so let's
on.
go into non-public.
Okay.
Oh,
So we will go into non-public at
You guys
4:20.
are
We can
okay?
leave?
Yeah,
Okay.
you
Can we-
can.